and play on the best is the best there was, the best there ever will be. There be none before me, there'll be none after me. Therefore, I am the one and only Jake Kobe, and welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. We got an action-packed week this week with your news of the week, followed by a SmackDown and a Raw review. And then we're going to look at a classic pay-per-view, the Elimination Chamber, Rock versus CM Punk. The last time CM Punk really qualified for a world title shot on a major show, and the last time the Rock, it was the third to last time the Rock ever performed in WWE. So I figured that would be a cool one to look back on. And then we have your drink of the week, followed by the Belch Droid of the week. But let's get into news this week. Is a former champion returning to WWE? Apparently, as Chelsea Green revealed that it's only a matter of time before her fiance, the former Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, is back in WWE. This could be a really fun one. I would love to see the Matt Cardona character and not the Zack Ryder character back in WWE. The guy has a lot of potential to be one of the greatest, but it just depends how they use him. I know Triple H always had some good plans for him going back to NXT with the Hype Bros, so it'll be very cool to see Zack Ryder come back and maybe have a couple feuds with some different people around WWE. And what does The Undertaker have to say about Vince McMahon's departure in WWE? Apparently, he has said it's calm backstage. The crew is itself. They're relatively young. The top to the bottom, they're young people. They're also so chill. He's seen Triple H get worked up, but he hasn't seen him yell at talent. And there's been times where he came through a curtain and you know that Ash Stewart is coming, but he hasn't seen it yet. So it sounds like Triple H is trying to create a helpful and nice environment in WWE. And finally, some great news. So Brian Pillman's grandson, Swollen, apparently alerted his father that there was a potential act of a mass shooting coming to his school of a former student. And thankfully, the police were there. I'm not going to disclose the name of the school or the name of the student that was arrested. But apparently the cops were then alerted to the authorities. They searched the child and actually found him in possession of weapons. So a mass shooting was basically stopped because of Brian Pillman's grandson. That's an awesome thing, It just goes to show that people are being as smart as they can because this is the world we live in now. But it saved a lot of lives, so I'm sure wherever Brian Pillman is right now, he is completely proud of his grandson. Let's move on to SmackDown, though. SmackDown kicked off with CCO Triple H, Paul Levesque. I like they're calling him Paul Triple H Levesque now in the ring, and he said that they are on the road to WrestleMania 40, and he doesn't care who he is with. He is the only person that they have to answer to is him. So it will be Roman Reigns defending the undisputed WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes. He said some people in the back might not like it, but he doesn't care what they think. This guy, huge ovation from the crowd. Nick Aldis then revealed that the challenger for Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40 will be determined in the men's Elimination Chamber match on February 24th. We then get your first qualifying match of Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles. It was a very cool match. These two really actually showed up and really tore the house down. Drew McIntyre would pick up the win as LA Knight got distract Styles, and Drew McIntyre took advantage, hit the Claymore for the win. Maybe they're planning this match for WrestleMania of Styles versus LA Knight. Yeah, I would love to see it. I think that would be a great match. We then get Bianca Belair versus Michin Mia Yim in a women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Bianca Belair would pick up the win over Michin Mia Yim. Okay match, Bianca Belair. There was no question she was winning. We then get Bayley coming out to deliver a promo, and Dakota Kai would then come out saying she wasn't on SmackDown last night because she was visiting her doctors trying to get cleared. You would then have the rest of Damage Control come out, and Dakota Kai would kind of stand with Bayley. I'm kind of wondering if they're going to build this to a triple threat match at WrestleMania. I would love to see a Damage Control triple threat match. You would then get Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate versus DIY in a number one contenders match. This was a fun match. I really enjoyed the chemistry these two teams had. It was awesome. They really connected in the ring. I thought it was fun, enjoyable. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate would pick up the win over DIY. Great match, and I'm excited for the tag team match at Elimination Chamber between Dunne and Bate versus Judgment Day. We then get Logan Paul saying he isn't happy about having to put in a qualifying match for the men's Elimination Chamber match. And they announced that not only will he have the match, he will have to face his former partner, The Miz. We then get your final match of the night of Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn. Awesome match. Sami Zayn would get hit with an RKO out of nowhere. Randy Orton picks up the win. Randy Orton goes on Elimination Chamber. Apparently, they might use this as a way to turn Sami heel. I do not want to see that. I like Sami as a face. In my opinion, I think he'd be a way better babyface champion than he ever would a heel champion, but that's just me. We then move on to Raw, as Raw kicked off with Jey Uso and the New Day versus Imperium in a six-man tag team match. Jey Uso and the New Day would pick up the win over Imperium, and this would lead to basically Jey Uso getting an Intercontinental Championship match next week on Raw. We then get Bobby Lashley versus Big Bronson Reed in a great match. Bobby Lashley would pick up the win with a spear after it looked like it was over for him. You would have the Bronson Reed about to go for like a huge splash. It would lead to Bobby Lashley actually getting to kick out and hit a spear. Cody Rhodes would then come out and cut an amazing promo calling out the Rock for the Cody Crybaby, saying he's going to hit The Rock for slapping him. World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins then came out and thanked Seth for having his back at the conference, and Seth said he understands why Cody chose Roman Reigns for WrestleMania 40. He then asked Cody what his plan was, because now he has to deal with The Rock and the rest of the bloodline. And Seth Rollins says he knows of a special person who can shield him against Roman Reigns and The Rock. He called himself an architect, a visionary, a revolutionary. Seth freaking Rollins. Seth Rollins then said that he could basically team up with Cody and be a tag team partner at WrestleMania if he needs it. I really hope this is the night one main event. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins versus The Rock and Roman Reigns. That could be a great match. We then get Liv Morgan versus Zoe Starks in a women's match to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. Liv Morgan would pick up the win to qualify and continue her revenge-filled path to Elimination Chamber. We then get R-Truth versus JD McDonough. Nice little match. R-Truth really showing his comedic factor here. Always funny as hell. You would then have JD McDonough pick up the win. You would actually have R-Truth trying to call The Miz, saying, hop on a plane as quickly as you can. It's clear why The Miz wasn't at Raw. Unfortunately, for those of you who didn't hear, Maurice is dealing with a form of, I believe it's ovarian cancer. So she is battling that. You know, I will always say this of I love The Miz. I love Maurice. Their show Miz and Mrs. to me was always hilarious. So I really hope that she can beat this and she is back to full strength very, very soon. But JD McDonough would pick up the win over R-Truth, and this would lead to R-Truth getting beat down by Judgment Day and DIY coming to make the save. We then get it revealed that DIY would think it. R-Truth would think DIY is kind of DX. He would call them DX, so I thought that was hilarious. We then get LA Knight versus Ivar in a qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber. LA Knight, yeah, would pick up the win. Thought that was a great match. LA Knight really showing off his talents with the BTF. We then get your main event, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn. Awesome match. You know, people were wondering, I saw Alex Sour Grapes post it from Fightful, that if these two could recapture the magic they've had years ago, then it would be a great match, and they definitely did. This match was awesome, except for the ending. I didn't like Drew McIntyre came down to distract Sami Zayn, but I thought it was still an amazing, amazing match. Drew McIntyre would cost Sami Zayn the match, and McIntyre and Nakamura would beat up Zayn. Cody Rhodes would come in to make the save and would hit Drew with a Cody Cutter and Nakamura with the Crossroads. Thought it was a very fun Raw. Really enjoyed it. There isn't a bad match that I could look at on this show. It was fun. It was enjoyable. If you're looking for a great Raw to watch, this week's Raw was perfect. I thought it was better than SmackDown this week. I'll say that one right now. Whew. I think it's time for the Elimination Chamber 2013, ladies and gentlemen. Coming from the Smoothie Arena, that time known as the New Orleans Arena, Smoothie King Center now, an attendance of 13,000 and a buy rate of 213,000. This match kicked off with tons of funk. Brodus Clay and Tensai versus Team Rhodes Scholar, Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow. Funny to look back at that now and see that you actually have one of these guys in the pre-show going on to main event WrestleMania. You get a singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship of Alberto Del Rio versus The Big Show. In a singles match for World Heavyweight Championship, Alberto Del Rio defending his title against The Big Show. They had had a long feud, which I believe even included a last man standing match where they did the classic tape the ankles to the ring post. Alberto Del Rio would pick up the win by submission and would then go on to feud with the winner of that night's Elimination Chamber. I'll talk about that later. We then get Antonio Cesaro versus a face Miz for the United States Championship. This was a weird time when The Miz was actually a face in WWE. Was the first time he ever turned face, talking as Antonio Cesaro would basically be the vindictive, I'm against America heel, and The Miz is, I'm the American babyface, I'm the American. This would actually lead to a disqualification. The Miz would then go on to feud with Wade Barrett at WrestleMania 29 for the IC title. You would then get Randy Orton versus Chris Jericho versus Jack Swagger versus Mark Henry versus Kane and Daniel Bryan for a match at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship inside the Elimination Chamber. You would have Chris Jericho and Daniel Bryan actually start off a great little match in themselves. After this, you would have Jack Swagger enter, and he was just kind of there for that, kind of getting a bit involved, but not too involved. And then you would have Kane enter, and really she would wreck house. He would choke slam, tombstone. Awesome to see Kane and his environment there. And then you would have the Viper come in. Everybody thought the Viper was the hands down favorite to win this match. It would have been cool to see, but you would then have Mark Henry come in, and Mark Henry would eliminate Daniel Bryan and Kane, both by pinfall. You would then have Mark Henry be eliminated by an RKO from Randy Orton. After this, Randy Orton would eliminate Chris Jericho. And then you would have Jack Swagger come in, roll up Randy Orton, and become the number one contender for the World Heavyweight title. Just that simple, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone was against this booking. Jack Swagger had returned to the company basically to a chorus of silence. There was nothing, no one that wanted Jack Swagger to come in. He basically demanded to be put in the Elimination Chamber match, and no one reacted. It was basically not sold at all. They kept deciding to push him against the face Alberto Del Rio, which nobody wanted because everyone liked Alberto Del Rio as the cocky, like, Mexican heel. I'm richer than you. I got more money than you. And for some reason, I always worked for Del Rio when he was in WWE. He was a terrible face, in my opinion. He was a way better cocky heel than he ever was a face. This would lead to a piss poor match at WrestleMania 29. It was okay at best between Jack Swagger and Del Rio. And that was basically it. You would then get a six-man tag team match, and it was one of the matches of the night, in my opinion, of the Shield versus John Cena, Ryback, and Sheamus. The Shield would pick up the win. The reason I liked this match, one, it started to set up the Ryback Mark Henry match for WrestleMania, which is actually, in my opinion, a forgotten good match of WrestleMania, because Ryback always gets a little shit on this channel. Let's be honest, I don't like the guy. But this was a fun match to go back and watch. The Shield would pick up the win, and it would kind of fuel John Cena's of, I haven't been able to win since I lost WrestleMania last year. The only match he was able to win was the Elimination Chamber, and it would fuel his, I need to win. I need to prove I can beat The Rock, because if I can't, what's my point in being here? So this match was perfect for that. We then get just a singles match between Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston, kind of a filler match, if you will. Dolph Ziggler would pick up the win over Kofi Kingston. It's funny to look at, one of these guys would become a WWE champion. The other one would always be talked about as the guy who should have been in the main event, but never really was. We then get Caitlyn. Remember when she was WWE Divas champion? Defending her title against Tamina Snuka. This is a weird match. Again, they never gave the women time. It was more treated as a filler match. Caitlyn would retain her championship in a small 3-minute match. We finally get your main event, The Rock defending his WWE Championship against CM Punk. If The Rock had been counted out or disqualified, he would have lost the title. The Rock would pick up the win over CM Punk. If you're looking for a great match, honestly, The Rock and CM Punk did have good chemistry. I don't know if they liked each other or not. I know CM Punk was always friends with John Cena. And at the time, John Cena and The Rock weren't getting along, so I imagine that might have led to CM Punk not liking The Rock. I don't know, but these guys always put on a great match, and I know CM Punk wanted to be in the main event of WrestleMania 29. He actually pitched it as a 3-way elimination match, but it never came to fruition. The Rock would pick up the win, and you would actually have him go on to defend the title against John Cena at WrestleMania. And then you would have CM Punk go on to feud with The Undertaker at WrestleMania in the last match of the streak. It's a fun Elimination Chamber to look back on now, as almost everyone from this show is back in the company. So you're looking at it going, wow, okay, oh, wow. This is how they kind of really left the company. And now we're seeing them all come back in to truly be a part of the new generation. So it's awesome to see. Woo! I could use a drink. How about a kiwi melon punch? This actually is delicious. I've had this before. One of my favorite punches to make for a party. It is 6 ounces of light rum, 6 ounces of coconut rum, 6 ounces melon liqueur, 10 ounces of sweet and sour mix, some lemon, some kiwis, some ice, and a pitcher. You're going to add the fruits to the base of your pitcher. You're going to pour the rums and the melon liqueur and the sweet and sour mix over the ice and the fruits. Stir well. Please drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. Do not overconsume on alcohol. Do not drink if you are under 21 in the United States. And once again, do not overconsume on alcohol. This is not a drink for a solo person. This is a drink for a party. Please drink responsibly. And now, everybody, it's time for the Battle Droid of the Week. The Battle Droid of the Week is the motherfuckers who decided to bully Ava, The Rock's daughter and current manager of NXT, off of Twitter. Listen, I understand not being happy with booking. I understand that. We all really are pissed off at times of booking. I'm excited if it's The Rock versus Roman Reigns. I'm excited if it could be Rock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I am. I'm excited if it's Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I'm happy with either. It's cool and it's fun. I would love it. Now, to those motherfuckers who think it's okay to bully someone just because they don't like the booking, fuck you. Fuck you guys. Listen, it's wrestling. This is why the rest of the world makes fun of us for being fans. We need to be better. Stop doing this shit. And because of that, you are the Battle Droids of the Week. Congratulations.
Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. I have been the big guy. This has been Wrestling Made Simple. Next week, we will have my predictions for one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year, Elimination Chamber. Until then, thank you very much for listening. I have been the big guy. This has been Wrestling Made Simple. Have a great week in wrestling.